Hey everyone, it's Kaycienikole, and today I'm going to take you through a guided meditation where the focus is going to be on calming our nerves, grounding ourselves down, and then hopefully releasing some of those inner anxieties as well. So find your way to any comfortable seated position. If you need any support, bring some support underneath your hips, underneath your knees, underneath your feet, whatever you'd like. I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. And the more we can find comfort in the body, the more we can tap into what's going on inside of our heads. So as you find your way to your comfortable seat, close your eyes and just let your body move around a little bit. Let yourself sway, shift. Notice how your body feels today. If there's areas that feel a little wound tight, if there's areas that feel blocked or sticky, and just kind of moving. Couple more relaxing breaths here. Just allow yourself to shift. And what we're kind of doing here is we're breaking up any of that stagnation, any of that stickiness. And that way we can find a little bit more movement for it and more intentionally allow ourselves to release it. So go ahead and find your way back into a center point. And as you find that center point, I want you to really visualize your sits bones. And if you're not sure what those are, think about them as the two bones at the base of your pelvis that you can feel when you're sitting, maybe rocking forward and back a little bit, and you should be able to feel the points of contact. And as you do feel those sits bones, press them firmly down into the ground. And as you do, I want you to visualize that you're growing roots down into the ground, all the way through the floor, into the dirt, and just feel those roots digging deeper and deeper. And as your roots dig deeper, you're going to feel more solidified, more grounded, more connected, a stronger foundation. So as you root down, I want you to equally think about the growth upward. Feel the lifting of your spine. Feel the lifting of the crown of your head. Open up through the chest and feel the shoulders relax. And as you rise through the crown, even though we're lifting, we're using minimal effort, allowing ourselves to feel equally pulled in both directions, to find length, support, to feel grounding, and yet to feel expansive and open. Now, before we do anything else, just take a moment to scan over your body, your mind, your emotions, and just start to take note of all the things that you're feeling today. And as you kind of check off how you're feeling, try not to put these things in boxes of good or bad. We're not trying to label how we feel. Take your labels away. It's so much deeper than a word, a label, a box. I want you to connect with the feeling or the emotion or the thought itself. And just notice where your mind goes, what it lands on. And through that, notice the emotion layered underneath it. Where do you feel the emotions in your body? Now, when we're feeling anxious, maybe you feel a lot of energy in your chest. Maybe you feel a lot of disruption through your mind. Maybe you feel it down in your belly, like that gut feeling of butterfly. Sometimes we feel a sense of hollow or emptiness. Sometimes we feel too full, that we're just spilling over. There's too much. And so today we're going to try to find a little bit of that balance in between, shifting into a more harmonious state, allowing whatever's here to be here, finding that bit of calm, a bit of still and centeredness through this practice. We can feel that we're intentionally placing the things that we want into our direct line of focus. And we're going to release everything else. At least here for this moment, for this practice, you can connect to that little bit of balance, that little bit of still, and allow yourself to fully reside there. So we're going to take a couple clearing breaths to release some of that stagnation, that stuckness. So exhale, release your breath out, and visualize your breath dropping down deep into your belly. Then with a slow inhale, expand through the belly. Expand up through your rib cage. Feel the breath lift up into your chest. Feel the broadening of the chest, the upper back, the lungs fully opened. Hold at the top and think about all of that stagnation, all of that clutter and disruption just starts to surface with the breath. Open up your mouth and exhale, let everything go. Again, slow breath in, even slower than the first. Take your time to expand front, back, and side. And you're picking up more than just a breath. You're picking up any old feelings, old thoughts, old beliefs, and you're lifting them up to the top. Finding that space, ready for release, and then open up the mouth and exhale, let everything go. Let's do one more, but we'll keep it through the nose this time. Slow inhale. Gradually expand. Open up the body with the breath, filling up all the way to the top. The body expands front, back, and side. And once you've reached the top of the breath, just allow a brief pause. And this time we're going to move the breath through the nose. As you exhale, gently start to melt the breath from the top back down to the bottom as it releases all the way out. And then relax your breath, still allowing it to move in and out of the nose. And just notice where you feel the most energy, the most sensation. Remember, release your labels, release your good sensation versus bad sensation, and just feel sensation itself, exactly as it is, and exactly as it is intended for you in this moment. Observe. And if it feels good, I encourage you to take your hand and stack them over the space that feels the most turbulent. If it's the mind, maybe taking your hands and bringing them over the forehead. If it's through the chest or heart, maybe taking the hands, resting them over the chest. If it's the belly, you can rest your hands, stacking them over the belly. Anywhere else that you may feel it, bring your hands to that space. Draw your awareness to that space, wherever that space is. And I want you to feel the breath moving into this space. Even if it's your head, even if it's a space that you don't typically associate with your breath. When you close your eyes, visualize that you could create a clear channel from wherever you're intaking your breath through the nose and to wherever it is that you want to direct it. Even if it's the tips of your toes, visualize that channel, that path, and guide your breath there visually. Imagine it traveling through the body to that specific area. Feel the expansion and feel that gentle release. And with your hands in this specific area, I want you to think about extracting any of those anxieties, any of those feelings that we no longer need, all that disruption within us. Imagine the hands drawing it out of the body and into the palm, keeping it at the palms, not allowing ourselves to reabsorb it through the limbs, but keeping it at the surface of our palms and just pulling and extracting all of those feelings outward. With each breath, as you visualize the breath moving into this space, also visualize that your hands are receiving that energy. All your worries, all your concerns, all your to-dos, all the things that overwhelm the mind, the body, the soul. Feel it slowly trickling out. And at first, it may feel blocked. It may feel really heavy. So take it in little chunks and pieces until you feel enough of that initial layers broken down to where you can get a free flow of energy as it just pours out into your hand. Notice any tingling sensations in your hand. Try not to get lost in the thoughts behind these feelings. Try not to get lost in the detail, the story, the whys, that repetitive motion that continuously works through the mind. Not now. Now is our time to release it and to feel a little more centered in ourselves. Now, as you absorb this feeling, imagine that last little bit of stagnation slowly seeps into your hand until you feel more ease in your emotional state. Pouring out as much as you possibly can, extracting every last drop. And as you do, go ahead and slowly peel the hands away from the body, wherever it is, and imagine that you're pulling that last little bit out and then you're sealing the space behind you. Now with your hands, just go ahead and draw your hands upward here. Just open up the palm and just feel the energy in the surface of your hand. We're keeping it right there for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on grounding that energy back down, releasing it out of us. So take your hands and bring them all the way down to the floor. Even if that means coming forward a little bit in your body, whatever you need to do to connect your hands into the ground, the earth, the floor, whatever it is that you're sitting on. I'm going to lean a little forward here. And as the hands connect down, imagine that you are pushing all of that energy down into the earth. You're releasing it all the way back out, back to where it came from, back into the vastness of possibilities, endless feelings, emotions, scenarios, situations, experiences, all the unknowns of life spiral around us constantly, day in, day out, full of endless possibility. And so as you release what no longer serves you back out, you release it from your being. Even if just for now, feel that sense of openness. Feel that sense of expansion. You may even feel a sense of emptiness. Now, through the word emptiness, instead, rework the thought process behind this word. Start to rebuild the framework to align more with the sense of possibility, potential. When you are empty, you have space to fill, and not just with anything, not just taking those anxieties right back in, but now we get to intentionally choose what we welcome into our space. Are we going to allow our mind to run the show? Are we going to allow those anxieties to take over? Feel your roots dig down and lifting up through your crown. Now take your hands right in front of the heart space and turn your palms up towards the ceiling, the sky, all the space that surrounds you. And I want you to visualize yourself as an empty vessel. And through this emptiness, remember we are staying in an intentional space. I want you to intentionally welcome in whatever it is that you're wanting to feel and embrace, to create, to manifest, to step into and fully own, encompass, expand into these feelings. Let them be positive. Let them be enlightening, empowering. Feel the goodness pouring back in through your hand, saturating through your body, your mind. And knowing that when we have anything that doesn't serve us, we can let it go. We can release it and we can welcome in new energy, a cleansing, releasing. Some things in our life require more movement, require more of us to show up, to work through those problems, those blockages. And sometimes it's emotionally stemmed, where we can simply ground in, choose to release the things that we cannot control, and to let it go. So in this moment, as you are receiving all the goodness, all that you want, all that you desire, all that you're trying to create for yourself, recognize any resistance within you. And if there is resistance, acknowledge if it is resistance that you can ground down and release, or if it's something that requires a little more intentional working through. Do we have control over these feelings, over this issue, over this point of concern? And if your answer is yes, we do have control, recognize what we need to do to move through it. Instead of getting lost in the problem, I want you to think nothing about the problem itself, but only about solutions, potential solutions. Don't get lost in the story, the negative, your inner narrative. Just stay committed to the solution. And if you're not sure, with the palms open, allow yourself to receive the solution. Receive your answers through clarity and openness, not by trying to control what the answers are. Now, if it's out of your control, simply let it go. When we have no control, when there's nothing that we can do to directly impact what we're experiencing, we simply embrace the feeling and we allow it to move through us until we can release it, until we can ground that energy back down and just let it go. If there's nothing we can do, we can choose to just release all the turning of the mind, all the processing, all the trying to figure out whys and what to do next. Just simply be with it, accept it. And knowing if we don't have control, we can just simply release it, let it go, and allow yourself to just flow. And once we're able to either accept or work through our blockages, we can come back to that space of receiving, taking in all that feels good, all that serves us, all that aligns us with what it is we truly want. Take your hands, stack them over your heart, and just feel your breath gently moving in and out through the nose, but expanding deep down into your belly. And as we focus on belly breath, we start to stimulate more of that rest and digest mode. We tap into that parasympathetic nervous system, helping us to move through, to relax, to find a deep center or calm, and let everything else go. Belly expands and belly releases. Give yourself just a couple minutes here to breathe into the belly, to feel expansive, and to find more clarity, calm, and grounding. If at any point you feel too much emotion inside, then you'd prefer to take your hands to the ground, rerouting back in and releasing what no longer serves to create more vastness, emptiness, or potential within you, then do that. Find the space that aligns you with your intention here. And just allow yourself to be. Begin to feel your breath deepen. circulating that energy throughout and noticing how the insides feel. Notice your thoughts. Notice if there is any release of any deeper emotions or feelings, even if very little subtle differences. Acknowledge those differences because they do add up. Thanking yourselves for taking the time to just sit and be with it. Hands together, heart center, prayer position. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice. Come back to it as often as you'd like. Open up your eyes whenever you're ready. Thank you all so much. I know sometimes life happens and we go through stages of feeling really great, and there's other days we feel really heavy and we feel burdened by anxieties and stressors of everyday life. So these are some things that help me when I'm working through a lot on how to identify where I'm feeling things so that I can release them back out of me and then receive the things that I want. And sometimes it's a quick fix. Sometimes it takes time to break it down in layers. And sometimes there are things we need to do outside of our meditation to be able to work through those things. So recognize, empower yourself, and do what you can do, because that's all you can do. So thank you for allowing me to be your guide. I would love to hear your feedback and can't wait to practice with you again soon. Thank you.